which you're still following the structural here and spinning opposite here as just that general methodology to how you go about wiring.
Backing up to what you said about pruning to get the tree back to where it was,
Uh-huh.
how then do you recommend controlling the rampant growth that starts to take the tree out of shape?
Well, so I think so, but this, yeah, this is the whole. Now we get into this bigger conversation because you start to say, okay, I have rampant growth, and I would say, well, do you want rampant growth? Well, it just depends. It depends, right? If you're developing branches, if you're building secondaries, yeah, you do.
Yes.
If you're not, if you're refining, then your technique to refine means that you're not going to be getting rampant growth, or you're going to be performing your tasks at a point in time to head that off, because that's not what you're trying to do.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so now all of a sudden it's like, oh man, so I got to know what I'm trying to accomplish. And if you accept that as a tree grows, the more knowledgeable we are about timing and technique, and the more clear we are with our design, we should be utilizing the growth that tree creates every single year. If we're cutting that growth off as our practice of bonsai, you're doing something wrong. Okay, not to say you shouldn't prune, because we're going to prune it for sure. But if we're taking it back to where it was before it started to grow, and then it grows again, and then we cut it back to where it was, and then it grows, then what are we doing?
So you should be addressing it as it starts to grow, not after.
I think it depends on it. You should have an objective of what you're trying to accomplish with your tree.
Mm-hmm.
You should be applying the techniques at the appropriate times that allow you to accomplish that objective, and that is doing bonsai as an art form, progressing the quality of the tree.
Yeah.
And I think that is a largely missed concept in the practice of bonsai currently.
Right.
That you do have these different stages that demand different approaches, but all of them are intentionally moving the tree forward. And the beautiful part of it is, if you are changing your fertilizer to the state of development, if you are, putting it in the correct container and building the root system as appropriate for the development, and then you start applying the technique that's appropriate for the development, the tree will slow down and become more maintainable on its own. That's the whole constriction of the container.
Right.
But if the tree is in a gigantic container and we're fertilizing it just as if we want it to grow like the wind, and then we're like, gosh, I don't know why I can't get ramification and I keep getting this coarse growth. It's like, well, that makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless the rats chew the tip out of your tree and you're trying to regrow the end of it, and you got two scenarios. You're trying to grow the foliage back on one side, and I still don't know, and maintain it on the other.
See, I've seen that to me, that's the easiest. That actually is the easiest scenario, because then when you prune the other side to maintain it and continue to enhance it, just by pruning the other side and not pruning the side that's in development, void of any supplemental nutrition, you're redirecting the tree's energy towards the side you're trying to develop. So pruning becomes almost the mechanism by which you guide that process. And that's where it becomes super easy. It's where fertilizer doesn't have to be applied to blow out a refined portion of the tree, when you've got a portion that you are trying to maintain and a portion you're trying to grow out. Just the pruning process starts to transition the resources to dictate that behavior and the growth of the different foliar masses.